Boom shakalaka.
With the 11th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Caleb Downs, defensive back, Ohio State.
You know, a lot of times in the evaluation process, you guys have conversations with different folks. You get eyes on the tape. You write up your reports here. I don't know if I heard or read many negative things about Caleb Downs. I mean, the amount of praise that this safety has gotten, Bucky, is pretty tremendous. So you can understand why the Dallas Cowboys decided to move up to go and grab him.
Okay, so what I love about this is, in this process, which is really a beauty pageant, at some point you got to take really good football players. And Caleb Downs is an outstanding football player. And I contend that he was the best football player that Ohio State had on their squad. High IQ player, versatile in terms of being able to do anything you want to see the safety do. Patrolling the middle, making plays, coming downhill, delivering the big hit. He can do all of those things. But it's also his ability to come down and be a run stopper, line everybody up and do those things. And I think it has been underestimated and not discussed enough. This guy was the defensive quarterback of a defense in Alabama that Nick Saban handpicked him as a freshman and gave him the keys. Then he goes to Ohio State. Matt Patricia, who's been an NFL defense coordinator, head coach, puts it all on him. I am telling you, he is going to be a much better pro than people have talked about because he is
I hope they're right.
Who is always around the action.
He's a high football IQ player. Bucky mentioned Nick Saban and Matt Patricia. That's, you know, those are great to learn from. For one guy to handpick you, for the next guy to help mold you and shape you. I think he can, you know, a big trend right now in the NFL is the third safety. So the big nickel role, and Caleb Downs played that, the star role, whatever you want to call it in college, the overhang position. He can play some split safety, but he can also play around the line of scrimmage like Jalen Petrie for the Texans to just smack people. And this is also, you know, that Dallas defense has gotten really soft. And Caleb Downs is about that life every single
did he call
snap.
us soft?
He's coming to hit you. Now, the tackling needs to, you know, sometimes the tackling can be a little inconsistent because he's trying to hit rather than wrap sometimes. That's one of the things that, you know, I pick at him a little bit. But, Bucky, I think this is really about saying we want somebody who's going to turn things around in our locker room and on the field with culture. It's a culture play as much as it's a football play.
When you've been on part of bad teams and you're trying to turn around from like a decision-maker standpoint, you want guys to come from winning programs. Guys that have winning pedigrees, championship pedigrees even. Well, there's no disputing what Caleb Downs has been around. He's been around the GOAT when it comes to college coaching, Nick Saban. And then you think about how they were to win the national title with him playing a big part of that defense at Ohio State. I love this pick for the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys needed to get better on defense. I'm not even saying they need to be a top 10 defense to be able to win at a high level, but being able to get some stops, being able to play the pass.
Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great day. Man, I'm just screwing up, man. I don't know why you guys watch me because I'm a mess. I truly am. You know, I've got a super diehard Dallas Cowboy fan that I've known for a couple of years here. He goes, he's a high roller. He's a high roller. This is broke ass media here. Okay. When I go to the game, you know, if I'm lucky, I'm on like the second level, like in the end zone. But more times than not, you know, I'm up in the rafters. You know, I go past the mountain goat, okay? The mountain goat getting to my seat, okay? And it's so far up, and I got such bad knees that I make sure I don't drink anything because I ain't trying to have to come down off the mountain to go to the bathroom and go back up. That's not how my buddy, that's not how he rolls, okay? He's over there like across the street from the stadium and stuff like that staying, you know? He's, yeah. And so I'm doing some work for him because I really didn't have time to do the job. But he's like, hey, you know, because I got this church job I'm getting ready to start on and everything else. He's like, hey, man, I just want to get this stuff done, man. Can you do it before that? So I said, yeah, I'll do it. So I'm trying to get this done before the holiday weekend. Okay, so I got up this morning at like 6:30. I did my morning video. I felt great. I was like, yeah, I got my morning video. Went out and put bird seed out for the birds. I went to the lumber supply place and I got 20-foot 2x10s pressure treated for my building out there because I said I'm gonna have these here so when I get back I can go ahead and work on the pavilion that we're building. Yeah, the pavilion. And I got all this stuff done. My buddy Jet came through and we rolled on up the road, and then I realized I forgot the miter saw. Came back, picked up the miter saw, and got over there, got to work and everything else, and worked all day and got here about 6 o'clock. And I realized after I got over where we were working that I recorded my morning video, but I didn't upload it.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
I ain't that bright, man. I ain't that bright. And I guess that's why I don't work for ESPN or anything else. That I am just Joe the YouTuber here, okay? I'm just Joe the YouTuber. I am a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan who likes to talk a lot. And I love seeing my people like Woke Yusuf. Good evening. How are you doing, my main man? We got Dirty Nasty Sanchez. We got Jeff Lee. My name is Jeff. Chris May Overdrive. Joe the Pro Sport 88. And we've got the lovely and talented Holly Pierce. Holly? Have you been messing with that hose there, Holly? I'm just asking for a friend. There's Flossin something or other. There's Clint. What's up, Clint? Christian Parker defense is soft. That's what he's saying. Okay. I think he was talking about the defense that we had last year was soft. Alan Williams is in here. What's going on? So I am not really greatly prepared, but we're trying something a little different. This is a feature that's been here for a while, and I have not used it, but there is a question and answer. I hope I did it right. Question and answer, so you can ask questions, and we're going to answer them, so that way you control the show tonight. So, Joe the Pro Sports 88. His question is, with the new coaching staff in and Dallas defense being younger, can they be the middle of the pack defense? Here's the great thing about football. You can go from worst to first overnight. Things can change quickly. If you want to look at the problems with the defense, too many defensive coordinators, too much change, and not great players. Add to that, we had players that we were relying on that were injured. So if we start talking about last year's defense, the first thing you have to look at is Matt Everfuss, nobody bought into a system. That's the first problem. The second problem was you drafted Savon Ravel and looked at him and said, hey, he could be one of our starters. He gets injured in training camp on a knee that was being recovered and didn't start playing till the middle of the season. Your linebackers that you brought in, not real good. And Overshone, again, another player that was going to be key, was injured. Trayvon Diggs, you basically said, fuck you, before the season started because you took away money off of his contract before he even got here, which messed up an attitude on a guy who was coming back from a second knee. So when you have three key positions that have guys that can't work out in training camp with a new coach, and you end up bringing in not necessarily top tier players, you have to understand the Cowboys players, for the most part, that they brought in were toaster leavings. Toaster leavings, a shout out to Al Bundy. When you take the toaster and you turn it upside down, the crumbs that fall out, the burnt crumbs, that's basically what we ended up basically signing and saying, hey, they were first round drafted players. The Cowboys, they got rid of all of the bad attitudes from like Diggs, who literally said, I am a, man-to-man cover guy. I'm not a zone guy, but, maybe I'll try. Who was injured and missed Micah Parsons. Savon Ravel never got on the field. Deron Bland, who we paid, really just didn't show up. You literally just did not have any horses. Now, you tried. Kenny Clark was a good player. Quentin Williams is a good player. But by the time you got them in here, the offseason was non-existent. It didn't exist. And so they didn't have a background with a new coach. Unfortunately, the Cowboys set up the defense to fail. Now, if we look at this defense now, Eagle fans will say that Christian Parker, that he's not all that great. Of course they're going to say that because you know how it is. Yeah, we all do that. When you have this girl, your girlfriend, oh man, my boo. You got the boyfriend. Oh my, that's my girl. That's my man. He got my heart. He treat me so nice. He opened up the door for me in the car. And he takes me out to dinner and buys everything. Right. But once you break up, girl, that little dick motherfucker, he wasn't about shit. Cheap ass. Girl. Look, I could put a roadmap out there for him, and he still couldn't find it. Broke ass. So, take when you have Eagle fans say Christian Parker's defense is soft. Christian Parker is an idiot. It's because they miss him. So, the Cowboys, if nothing else, will be better from the fact that they got the players in under early. That they have the whole offseason right now that they're learning. That they're doing the installs right now. That they are at least getting to know everybody's name. And they have nowhere to go but up. Second thing I will say to that question is the attitude shift. They're buying into it. And see, here's my whole thing. You have to shoot for the moon. You have to believe that you can achieve something. If you do not believe you can achieve something, chances are you won't. And they've got the players buying in and excited about the defense. So, are we going to say that they're going to go from 32nd to top 10? I don't know if that's possible. But I saw a defense in 2013 that got rid of DeMarcus Ware. They let him walk. Cornerstone player. Tay Cowboys in the house. What's up, Tay? And Gina Dallas Diva. Now, I lost my thought. I'm sorry. The lovely ladies come in here. I just lose my mind and forget what I'm talking about. But the players are buying in to the system because you need players that believe in what you're teaching and are ready to run through a brick wall for you. Thomas Garrett. What's up, Thomas? How are you doing? So I believe that the defense will be better. Now, I will take, I now remember my point because I was talking about DeMarcus Ware left because the Cowboys cut him because they couldn't afford to pay him. Got nothing in return. He goes on to Denver and gets a Super Bowl championship. So congratulations to him and his Hall of Fame career. But they also let go Jason Hatcher, who had 11 sacks that season. And to make it even worse, a rookie offensive guard, Zach Martin, in the first OTA, came around the corner and touched Sean Lee, and Sean Lee tore his knee. Knee got tore up. So the Cowboys lost their three best players from the year before, and they went from 32nd to 17. But more importantly, they were second in the NFL taking the football away, which is what ended up propelling them to what should have been at least an NFC Championship season if Des Bryant had caught it, but he did, and they had said he caught it. So there's that. That's my answer to your question. So if you want to leave a question for me to answer, oh shit, we got more of them. Mark A. Gray. I think the boys are contenders this season. I also believe they can sweep the Eagles. Do I? I believe the Cowboys are getting better. I think they're going to have consistency. Having Brian Schottenheimer in year 2 of being the head coach with the offense and having, for once, not all of the major changes on the offense. The offense should still be good. They may take a step back. Maybe Javonte Williams isn't quite as good, which is why you're hearing the rumors about maybe we should look at getting another veteran running back in Nick Chubb, and I'll touch on that in a minute too. But I think the offense should be pretty good, although things can change quickly in the NFL. So keep that in mind. The defense has nowhere to go but up. The Eagles have become the drama club. And I believe that A.J. Brown leaving town is going to hurt that offense. And I don't believe that Saquon Barkley is going to be anywhere close to where he was 2 years ago. And with the change on the offensive line and Lane Johnson getting older, they're going to take some steps back. And, of course, with your defensive coordinator basically 1 foot out the door and losing key coaches, I think the Eagles are coming back down to earth. And I'm not saying that because I hate them, because I do hate them, but that's how I feel. And so I think the Cowboys have a chance to get closer. Keep in mind, if CeeDee Lamb in week 1 does not drop it, if CeeDee Lamb does not drop that pass, I believe the Cowboys sweep him last year. So Chris May's question is, everyone says that Christian Parker can't call plays. Do you think because of his experience under successful coaches that helps his cause? I think it definitely does. I will tell you this. His confidence, I think, is going to be key because, see, you don't have a guy who's kind of like, I'm just happy that I have a job. You have a guy who seemingly is on a mission. He wants to be a head coach. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That everything he has done is pointing him to become a head coach. And I hope after 2 years of being with the Dallas Cowboys in a Super Bowl championship, he gets that, because we would get 2 third-round comp picks. But, having not called plays, I think he's been under enough where I think that he can be pretty good. The first marker that you have to say he's doing well is the players don't seem to have any thought that he isn't the guy. You don't seem to have anybody there questioning what he's doing. And in fact, you hear the players praising him. How many of us heard players praising Matt Eberflus? Can't say I heard anybody say anything good about him. And I will even say, when he was hired by the Cowboys, didn't some of your defensive players kind of say, oh, shit, you got a good one? Okay. When was the last time you heard a Cowboys coach go somewhere else and our players said, damn, y'all got a good one? I'm going to say not too often. Okay. Mark Gray. Mark, I asked you a question. Do you think the defense will be better this season and the boys will be contenders? I didn't I? I thought I answered that. Didn't I answer that? I answered that. Okay. Yeah, I think I answered that. Yes. I think the Cowboys have a chance to contend like everybody else. I think that they'll do well in their division like they always do. I think there's some there's a tough window from week 3 to week 9. If they can get through that at 500 or above, I think the schedule actually will favor them. That's my thoughts. Mustang Logan. Why do I think the Eagles will fall? I didn't, hold on, Logan, hold on. I didn't say that they would fall apart. I didn't say they'd fall apart at all. I said I believe that the Eagles, okay, Logan, let's be fair here. Okay. Do you look at the Eagles right now and say that team is the same team that won the Super Bowl 2 seasons ago? Do you think that they're in the same shape? Do you look at Saquon Barkley as another 2,000-yard back? Do you look at this and say that Lemon is going to make the receiving core better than A.J. Brown as a rookie? Do you look at Dallas Goedert, who's a year older, and say he's going to play better than he did before? Do you look at the offensive line, which I think part of the offensive line's problem may actually have been what made them successful to win the Super Bowl, which is the tush push. When you have, Logan, I don't know if you've ever played football or not, but I'm going to tell you, the worst place you ever want to be on a football field is under a pileup with a fumble or on goal line situations. Because goal line and short yardage situation is like hand-to-hand combat. You're crowding the line. You're trying to get low as possible. Everybody is scrunched in together. When you get 300-pound bodies trying to push people out of the way that are trying not to push people out of the way, that are doing the turtle move, which is get down as low as possible, because if you're on the ground, you'll get stepped on, but you won't get moved. That mangled mess right there, when you do it like they did it one time, 3 times in a row, that adds wear and tear on you. Because your Eagles offensive line, when they won the Super Bowl, I was like, damn, I'm scared of these mother humpers. But it seemingly they got old overnight. So I'm not saying they're going to fall apart. They're still a great team. That defense was really good last year. They've got great players. But I look at it and say, I feel like they're taking steps down. So that's my thought on that. Oh, I get it now. Need a damn dick 2-inch. What? Dirty, what are you talking about? 2-inch dick? Okay. Brock Turdy. Mark, you said the O-line done and that Saquon is done literally. Saquon didn't need 2,000 yards to be dominant. O-line is getting healthier and Lemon gets open fast, which is what Hurts needs. Okay, Brock. Brock Turdy, we shall see, okay? That's your opinion, and I'm giving you my opinion. I don't look at Lane Johnson and say Lane Johnson is going to be healthier, because I've seen this with Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith goes out to California, works out with all these trainers, looks great and everything else, and then the season comes and he's breaking down. And that's where you are with Lane Johnson. And you have you've got problems across the offensive line. It's not the same offensive line. And Saquon was not the same guy last year. And if you think that a 28-year-old running back that's got a lot of miles on him is going to repeat his 2,000-yard season, well, bro, I got a bridge I want to sell you. So, and again, here's what I got to tell you. I'm a guy in his house talking some shit. That's it. I'm not an Eagles fan. I'm not an Eagles cheerleader. I'm a Cowboy fan. So, of course, I'm going to talk shit about yours. Thomas Garrett, what's up, man? How are you doing? Mark, check your mods. We're moderators for a reason, dipshit. Oh, man. Saquon is the victim of the Madden curse. It might be on my mind, but it's in your mouth. Oh, my God. What the hell? Mark, check your mods, bro. Mark, why has Joe Boo been taking so many shots at the media, especially more Momo hating on me? Momo is, let's be clear. This is YouTube, okay? It's nothing personal. It's only business, trying to run a business here. And, Momo's been to my house, spent 2 nights there. Momo and I have had multiple conversations. In fact, oh shit, I forgot. I was up in the attic burning up today, and he called me, and I forgot to call him back because I was like, Momo, look, I'm up in an attic because we got the power off because we've got to rewire some shit. It's like 120 degrees in there. And Momo calls because I've got my cell phone light on, and I'm like, Momo, I didn't even answer. I'm like, I can't do this right now, Momo. And I forgot to call him back. So, yeah, Momo is doing all of his AI shit. Dak Prescott throwing Joe Boo down and this, that, and the other. I ain't mad at him. Because in life, here's the thing. Stephen A. Smith figured this one out. It doesn't matter if they love you or hate you. All that matters is they're talking about you. So 49er, bang, bang, Niner gang that I think are overrated, getting up underneath their skin, I did my job. For Eagle fans out there that really just get pissed off when I say that Jalen Hurts is just a bus driver and that the team is going downhill, I did my job. For Commander fans that want to come in and talk shit, even though they ain't got nothing to talk about, I did my job. So let's see what other questions we have. Okay, top questions. I like this question. We got Jared Jones. Jared, how good a job have I done this off season, Mark? After filming the Netflix movie, I'm more determined than ever to win another Super Bowl. Well, Jared, let me say I appreciate all of the hard work that you've been doing, my man. And, stirring shit up. We always like it when you stir shit up. And I enjoy all that. And I will say that you are moving differently this year than we have in the past. Now, automatically, here's the problem for you, Jerry. The problem is Cowboy fans expect a Super Bowl and nothing else. You have raised the bar in what you have done, but you got to win. This team's got to win. We need a lot of success. And the things that you've done, I definitely like it. I love it. But I want to see some more. I want to see the Cowboys still, come June 1st, that you're looking to make another big move. I don't know if it's TJ Watt. I don't know if it's, Jaden Brooks. I don't know, but I need to see more. I need to say, I don't want you to sit back and say, we've done a lot of things and kick back and say, we're done. No, I want you every single day looking at what moves can make us better. And if you want me to pat you on the back, here's what I'll say you can do. Get George Pickens a deal done. Take that $18 million that you save on the salary cap this year. Get Quentin Williams' deal. Get him a long-term deal because you gave up a first and a second for him. You can't be thinking that I'm going to cut that guy after that much capital. And go out here and get me a couple of ringers. That's what I would say. So, Jerry, not a slow clap, a medium clap. But do those things and I'll give you full credit. Mustang Logan Sports. Cowboys are moving differently until December or January come around. We all know what's going to happen. And my response to that, Logan, is yeah, I hear what you're saying. But, we used to call you guys the ringless wonders. for my whole lifetime. For my whole lifetime. That you didn't do shit until you actually did. And I will say, things go in cycles. When I was a little child, a little boy, a little baby, looking up to my dad, I still look up to my dad right here, watching football, the Dallas Cowboys were known as great regular season team, but the team that kept losing to Green Bay in the championship game. Not just the Ice Bowl. They lost in other ones. They finally made the Super Bowl and lost to Johnny Unitas and the Baltimore Colts. They sucked. They were called chokers. Sound familiar? Until they beat the Miami Dolphins. So something hasn't happened until it does. That's my response. Kid Cowboy, you know how long it was for Kansas City? It was like 50 some years. Yeah, bro. Eagles, it was over 50 some years. It happens. And if you're some of those teams like the Cardinals out here, I don't know why I've got a Cardinal fan who thinks he got the right to talk. It was even longer, like never. So how about that? So I do want to touch on something. And that is the NFL is screwing itself right now. I think I said a couple times while my dad was still alive how my dad was one of those guys that on Sundays, he's watching football. Before it was cool, before it were jersey sales, before it was big. Listening to it on the radio. Diehard fans that were the ones that gave the NFL their reputation. The NFL gives no fucks about anybody other than the dollar. They don't care about the players. The only time the NFL does anything is because it might affect the bottom line. They didn't give a rat's ass about what the players did off the field until Ray Rice video happened. And it ended up being that it was so egregious that it actually turned people off. And so that's why they came up with the whole, oh, well, we're going to start suspending players. And why Zeke Elliott became the poster child when there was no evidence, even when their own investigators said, there's nothing here. Yeah, well, we gotta hang somebody high. Zeke Elliott, who's on the Dallas Cowboys, that's high profile. He's going to be the one. He's my bitch. And that's what they did. They didn't. You think that they care? You think they care now? Now let something happen that there's outrage. Then they'll care. Rashid Rice, his car accident and walking away, and the shit he's doing. Whew, no problem. Concussions. Do you really think the NFL cares about concussions until the concussion movie came out? Then mom started saying, no, Johnny's not going to play football. And they started looking and saying, wait a minute, we're losing a generation of paying customers. We're going to make a concussion fund. We're going to look out for the old players. But you know what happened? If you... What? What's wrong? Hold on, guys. I got a little emergency. Damn. We had an emergency. Damn. Whew. I had the fear of God right there. I was like, uh-oh. Tracy was like, I need you right now. I was like, oh, shit. What did I do? What did I do? What did I do? It was a bug. It was like a 1,000-leg bug on the wall. Whew. So here I come to save the day. And I crushed the bug. All right. So the NFL is looking at getting new contracts for television. And like I was saying for my dad retired, fixed income, only so much money to spend. And the NFL, hey, let's stream stuff on Netflix. My dad didn't do Netflix. Hey, let's put a game in Rio. And it's, on Peacock. Dad couldn't afford to do that. Hey, Sunday Ticket on, YouTube TV or Direct TV. Okay, that's another $300. Okay, I can't afford to do that. So they literally priced out the hardcore fans. I go to the draft. $21 for a beer. $21 to piss it out. That's insane. So now, the NFL is trying to go to streaming networks. They look at and they say, the regular networks, they're diminishing returns. They're old. They're dying. They're beginning to fail. We're going to jump ship to these new guys, the streaming platforms that have a lot of money. And we're going to fleece them. But the NFL kind of got bitch slapped by Netflix because they're looking and saying, you know what? Maybe we'll take the Fox Sundays and we'll put it on Netflix. And here's exactly what happened.
NFL schedule release, big story, obviously. Been talking about it for the last hour or so. But another story, an offshoot of that, involves what's going on the TV side of things. Because, as you know, one of the big pushbacks on the NFL in the last basically 2 years is that you have to pay way too much money to watch all these games. Because you got to get it on basic television. You got to get it on cable for ESPN. You got to get Peacock. You got to get Prime. You got to get Netflix now. Like, you got to pay so many different things. And we just like it if we only had one option or two or three options and that was the end of it.
There you go.
So the NFL, in an effort to, they say streamline, but to me it sounds like to get more money, went up to Netflix and says, hey, we're already giving you a couple of standalone games, some of our best games. We gave you a Black Friday game a couple years ago. We might give you a Thanksgiving Eve game, a Christmas game. How about, instead of you only getting 3 or 4 games a season, why don't we give you an entire NFL regular season slate? Just like Fox has one, and CBS has one, and to a lesser extent, NBC has one. And Netflix said, no, hell no. We have no interest in having 16, 17, 18 weeks worth of football plus a playoff game. We're just fine getting 3 or 4 really good marquee games, and we'll let the linear television folks figure out the rest.
Bravo to Netflix, my new hero, pushing back on the NFL, who once again is trying to fleece. Kelvin, the biggest thing going on right now is the NFL is telling people that they want to open up their contracts that they negotiated already. Tell them you better re-up at more money now, even though they already have a number that they've agreed to. No. Let's just rip that up and you pay more now. Otherwise, you'll have to pay more later and you might not get it. They're trying to strong arm people into breaking the contracts that they signed because they want more money now. And how they threaten these people, television execs, is they do what they did with Netflix. These guys and these companies have endless amount of money. So they want more of it, and they want to strong arm a Netflix to try to get the networks, Fox and NBC and CBS and whatever and ESPN, to have to cough up more coin. And bravo to Netflix to say, no way, no how, you greedy bastards.
There you go, you greedy bastards.
We're not doing that. We're not interested in doing that. And very seldom do people push back. It's refreshing for them to tell the NFL no. We understand what your product is. We're happy for you, whatever. Take it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Take it elsewhere. Let somebody else cough up all this coin. Can you imagine signing a deal and telling people you better tear that up and pay more now, otherwise you might not get games later? The goal and what they're trying to do. So Netflix pushing back is the greatest sign. And if Amazon does something or some of these other places push back too, the NFL will have nowhere to go. Like, that's the scary part for them.
Well, you know what?
Because linear television, last thing, there's just not that much money. You know what I mean? They're already working at a loss to have the games on. At some point, someone's going to say no.
And I've said that, I use that equation when we talk about who's going to be the first MLB team, or what NFL team is going to say no to a quarterback that's quote unquote next up. You know how they just, oh yeah, he's not even the greatest, but he's next up, so I guess I got to break the $60 million because he's next up, or MLB. I want 700 players just because I'm up next. And I always feel like at some point teams are going to be like, nah, man, I got $550 million for you. That's all I can give you. I'm not giving you $750 just because you're next up. And truth be told, you're not even better than the last guy who just got that. And I say that to say Netflix is in an interesting position because I feel like Netflix is NFL in the NFL. They're scarcitying the NFL. They're saying, no, I actually would rather cherry pick the week, cherry pick the game, give me my 5 or 6 or whatever it is, and I can have the game, and my thing can still feel like a moment, a marquee game, like this big Netflix moment. And that's kind of what they're doing with sports. They're like they're dabbling their foot into sports, right? They haven't fully committed where they're having like full on slates of things. They cherry pick a fight.
There you go, which is actually good news for us. Because if we're getting pushback from these networks, because, you got CBS right now negotiating with the NFL to give them an extra $1 billion on a contract they already signed off on. $1 billion more a year just to say, please don't end our partnership. They're holding them hostage. So we got Nick's is asking, give me a good reason to invest my time on the Cowboys next season. Okay. Investing your time. Let me ask this. If you're not watching the Dallas Cowboys or football, what are you investing your time in? It's Sunday afternoon. I will say, me personally, as painful as last year was, literally seeing my defense actually first down, okay, we held them to a yard. Okay, second down, it's, they held them to maybe 2 more yards. That is 3rd down and 7. Okay, it's 3rd down and 7 or 3rd down and 11. Okay, great. And then seeing my defensive secondary fall apart and then a 25-yard first down. That getting shit on by Commanders fans like my man Momo, talking shit about how the Cowboys are, or Eagle fans that are riding me and everything else. I will say, getting together with family and friends, watching football, having my live stream with my people here, I can't think of anything that I'd rather do more. Well, I can think of something I'd rather do more. Hey, Tracy, okay, but that ain't going to take up all Sunday. So that's my reason. And the fact that this offseason hasn't been the usual, let's just see all of our good players go bye-bye and not replace anybody. And to see, is this Dallas Cowboys team actually turning around, or can we just see a lot of drama? You can say a lot of things about the Cowboys, that they don't win enough, that they haven't been in the Super Bowl, but you can't say that they're not entertaining. So that's my reason that you should invest your time on the Cowboys this season. That would be mine. I don't know why Commanders fans are talking. Chris Hudson has entered the chat. What's up, Chris? Yeah, Commanders fans, I'm not sure on that one. They did go to their credit. They did go to the NFC Championship game, so you have to say that much. Now, our Cowboys are working out on the field. Dak Prescott has basically said, I ain't worried about George Pickens. We've worked out together. George knows what George got to do, and we're going to be fine. Everybody seems to be falling in love with Caleb Downs, and the praises are there. And it seems like, laughing my ass out, who's the effing weirdo? Nad 5 times? Who's the weirdo? Real homie, what the fuck? Okay. Chris Hansen has entered the chat. Okay. Pedo, laugh out loud. You're the one who likes the little boys. You were going to become a Catholic priest, but don't allow women to teach the Bible. What the hell is going on? Fools go gold, boys. Joe Boo. What's up, Kid Cowboy? Welcome, hater. Damn, kid. Okay. All right, let's check and see if we've got any more questions. Okay, so no more questions there have been raised. Let's get the final thing. Let's see. One more thing that actually is kind of bothering me. And that is the NFL is watering down the product. Jerry Jones says, the 18-game season, it will be good for the players. We'll have one less preseason game, and there'll be more money for the players to have out there. Jerry? You're going to shorten players' careers. You can't take away and make a shorter offseason. You can't go through these schedules where we're going to have games every night this year, except for Tuesdays. You're going to get to the point where football Sunday is no longer special. You got to understand, people are off from work. You have people who want to go tailgate at the game. You get people like me that are live streaming all day. You're taking premier games and you're putting it when people may not be able to watch it. As nice as it sounds to say, we're going to have a game on Wednesday before Thanksgiving, what if I'm traveling? I'm trying to get mama's house so I can get me, 2 plates and get overstuffed. I want the lemon meringue pie. I want the sweet potatoes, the turkey, the ham, the candy yams, right? I'm trying to get there. And you're going to put a game on Wednesday? What if I work nights? I got Wednesday night football, Thursday night football, and then a few Friday games mixed in. Now this game Saturday, Sunday. A lot of us have jobs. And it gets to the point where it's no longer special. It's watered down. And for the players, it's hard enough to have a good game on a Thursday night on a short week. You're talking about having a division in Europe. What are we doing here? You're about to screw up the brand.
There's a bigger picture thought that Maz wanted to hit on. He was listening to Fred this morning. Fred and Hardy interview Gary Myers. And what from their conversation do you want to touch on?
Okay, so they were just talking about the spread of NFL into Europe, the expansion of the schedule, the Thursday night package, the Wednesday night package, the Sunday night package, the Saturday games, the Monday games. They started adding all up, and I said, years ago we asked, is there a point when there is super saturation with football?
There you go.
Okay, now look, I love the sport as anybody else. But I think we're starting to get close if we're not there. And the reason I say that is they started talking, and the thing that triggered me a little bit was, and this is not new, I'm not telling you it's new, it just started to really dawn on me today. They started talking about having a team over in Europe, which I've heard before. Then, scheduling issues, and that's why they're talking about the prospect potentially of a whole division that's Europe-based. And then they started talking to Myers about potentially the Super Bowl being in London. And I started thinking about all this, and I said, this is getting ridiculous. And the thing that really triggered me was the talk about the television packages, because they have to move them to all different nights. And Fred, I thought, made a good point, and something that I personally have always felt. The beauty of football, the NFL, to me, is that you could basically, at least for a long time, watch the whole league in one day. The whole thing was packaged for you nice and neatly on Sunday. You could watch all the games and, or at least see highlights of them and updates and have a good grasp of what's going on in the league by one day. Now they're changing that. They're doing it all for TV. And this whole idea of, the famous line, did I already say this?
Nope.
That the famous line.
Just to yourself.
The famous line that you always talked about was the one that Mark Cuban said many years ago.
Hogs get fat, pigs get slaughtered.
The other way around. Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. And so I'm starting to wonder, is the NFL getting hoggish? And I think you're starting to see pushback. So this whole Department of Justice investigation into the selling of the rights, they're in the middle, Mike, the NFL is. They are in the middle of a broadcast deal, does not expire for another 5 years. And they're trying to get out of it and leverage their partners so they can make more money now. It's already one of the most profitable leagues in the world, if not the most profitable league in the world. It's certainly the most profitable league in the country. They are the top 49 or 48 of 50 television programs every single year. Football. And I personally have decided I don't want to watch it 6 nights a week. I don't want to have to watch the Monday game and the Wednesday game and the Thursday game, and then there's a Friday game on Black Friday, and then the Saturday games come when college ends, and then on Sunday I got to watch the whole slate. There could be crap games in the 1 o'clock window on Sundays now. Like, there's all this ripple effect that is going to affect people in multiple ways, and I think it's a mistake.
Well, the core of it, you hit on it. The key to the NFL product for decades was scarcity. Scarcity and density, if you will. The fact that you had to wait till Sunday, but then when Sunday came, you had the whole league in one day, and that was the beauty of it.
It was convenient for the consumer.
And not just that, it was just quality. It was only one day, and you were guaranteed quality because all the games were on one day. And you had to wait all week for it. And you had to thirst for it because it was scarce, supply and demand, okay? All that. So
there's so much to that. If you got a football game on every night of the week, unless it's your team, do you care? Do you care? I stopped buying. Kid Cowboy, you're about to turn 60? Damn. Shout out to you. Cowboys Hogs, long time ago. Okay. When will we get rid of Dak Prescott? Real homie. They'll get rid of Dak Prescott when the wheels fall off. Dak's not your problem, bro. Dak's not your problem. But there'll be a time where, and it's probably not that far away, that he'll be gone. And we'll have some other stiff there that you'll be saying, oh my God, or maybe you won't. But a lot of us look and say, damn, I miss those days of having Dak Prescott when we didn't have to worry about, 25 interceptions in a season. But you do you, boo. So I kind of like the question. Let me end that. Did you guys like the question and answer part of this? I hope you guys did. Why do I feel the NFL wants to rob me of my money? That's exactly what I feel. I feel like they're turning us upside down and they're shaking every nickel out of us. At a time where it's not like they can't keep the lights on. It's like, how much money do you need? You see Jerry Jones with a 330-foot long yacht out there, 2 helicopters. You know, you got the city of Dallas over the next, 10 years spending, $750 million to help the Cowboys with their stadium so they'll stay there till 2050. You've got the salary cap going up $25 million a year. How much money do they need? And $21 beers. You're right, Shermaid. It's not just the NFL. See, I came from a generation, and this is what kind of bothers me. I talked about the job I'm doing for this gentleman, right? And he, I really didn't have time to do it, but he's good people and all that. So I said, we're going to fit it in. I got my man Jet to help me. Mike is run all the lights and stuff. So we're getting it done. And we'll get it done and we'll get on to the church. But what I'm realizing, because I haven't been doing that much work for people on a regular, is people who have skills are few and far between. And people who do have skills, you may be waiting 6 months, a year to get them, and you will pay through the nose to get them. And I look at some of the prices people are charging, and I'm like, it's not that difficult. It's not that big a deal to come hang a ceiling fan. Why are you charging people $300 to replace a ceiling fan and they're buying the fan? It's going rate. Mike was working for an electrical company, and they worked on commissions. And he came to me and said, Dad, I can't do this. I said, what are you talking about, son? He's like, we went to this lady's house. She just had a bad plug. It's like, it's no big deal. It's a 75-cent electric plug to change it. The guy there training me is telling me, you got to tell her panel is bad, that she needs a new panel. She needs a panel upgrade. That's why the plug went bad. He's like, that's not why the plug went bad. This thing's just wore out and loose. No, the panel went bad. And bro, you get a 5% commission. So it'll be $10,000 to change your panel. Bro, you putting $500 in your pocket. She needs a new panel. It's like, no, she doesn't. She needs a 75-cent plug. Don't care. She's going to get a new panel. And that's the attitude that people have. Instead of doing good work and making an honest day pay, it's more of, who can we fuck and grab as much money as we can? So why should we expect the NFL to be different, I guess? I guess we shouldn't. You talk about yourself, about your uncle, like you know how he did. He used to sneak in your room. Okay. All right, I'm going to leave that one right there. So, with that being said, I appreciate everybody being here. And hopefully, we'll all see each other tomorrow. We're getting closer and closer to Cowboys minicamp, and I can't wait. As always, I appreciate you guys, and you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here, because we're going to turn out the lights. This party's over.
Turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night, the party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing.